This is KGW News at 11.
And we begin tonight with breaking news out of southeast Portland, where we've learned multiple people have been shot near Southeast 167th and Stark. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brittany Folgers. And let's get you right out to Galen Etlin, who is at that scene right on the border of the cities of Gresham and Portland. So Galen, you actually just heard from police. What do we know so far?
Yes, Brittany, we are in front of the Portland Police Mobile Command Center, where police confirmed at least one person is dead. Several others are in the hospital, and they think that this may have been a drive-by shooting, but they are still working to gather the details here at 162nd and Stark, again on that border between Portland and Gresham. So we don't have a whole lot of specifics just yet. But here's what we do know. We do know at least multiple shots were fired because of the many markers that were placed in the street that we saw. I've also heard from some witnesses that at least some of the shooting victims are youth, but we are working to learn more specifics about that. A group of people have been gathering in these parking lots where I'm standing right now, and they've been hugging, they've been crying. We heard one woman grieving about her brother. We don't know all the specifics again, but we do know at least one person is dead. Several people are in the hospital, and it's clear many more families are torn apart tonight by this ongoing issue of gun violence. We're live in Southeast Portland. I'm Galen Etlin. Back to you.
Galen, thank you. We're also following breaking news out of Southeast Portland near Southeast 134th and Washington. Officials say at least one person was pulled from a burning building around 9:15 tonight. We're told that person who was pulled from the building is semi-conscious, and the fire has been put out. You can check KGW.com for the latest updates on both of these developing stories, as well as tomorrow morning on KGW Sunrise. And now to a story that we've been following since last night, when demonstrators damaged businesses in North Portland. Broken windows, graffiti, and the remnants of a dumpster fire are left today. The group was believed to be protesting the death of a 26-year-old black man in Michigan who was shot and killed by police earlier this month. Crystal Kumwe has the details.
Police say a group gathered here at Peninsula Park around 8 Saturday night. An hour later, they started to march. And that's when, according to PPB, some in the group caused the damage.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
The group marched to Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, where on Sunday morning, pieces of broken glass were still on the ground.
Yeah, I just walked up and saw that all the windows were smashed in.
The Starbucks there was vandalized, some of its windows shattered, and police say explosive devices were launched at the building. Only the drive-thru was open Sunday morning. Many, like Mark, who tried to go inside, had to turn back.
There's people in there that have jobs and rent and families to take care of. And if that store is shut down for vandalism or sales decrease, that does affect the people at the bottom.
2 banks and 3 bus shelters were also damaged. A dumpster fire was set behind the Portland Police North Precinct. It was large enough that Portland Fire had to come put out the flames.
What is this about?
A flyer on social media shows the group had gathered for a vigil and march for Patrick Leoya, a black man who was shot and killed by a Michigan police officer earlier this month.
This isn't the place it used to be.
Gaima has lived in the neighborhood all her life and says vandalism is now common in the area.
I used to brag saying that Portland was a peaceful place and nothing really happens, but now I can't say that because something is always happening.
Which might explain why many were on Faye's Sunday at the sight of broken glass on the ground here at Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
At this point, I'm very numb.
Yeah, protesting and rioting is kind of recreational sport here now.
No arrests have so far been made, but anyone with information is asked to contact Portland Police. In North Portland, Crystal Kumwe, KGW News.
Monday marks 2 weeks since the beginning of the Nancy Crampton Brophy murder trial, and deliberations are set to continue this week in the case. The romance novelist is accused of killing her husband in June of 2018 at his workplace of the Oregon Culinary Institute. Her trial began back on April 4th, and each day has brought new evidence and defense into light. The state is expected to call witnesses for several weeks, and after a break, the defense will present its case. Court resumes on Tuesday, and you can stream the entire trial on KGW.com. And as gun violence grows across the country and in our community, we want to make sure that people impacted have a voice. A 72-year-old in Gresham is recovering from a drive-by shooting last week, and he's lucky he wasn't more seriously hurt.
Only thing in my mind, I thought maybe I would just speed up and just catch up to him and see who he was and why was he doing it, you know.
He sat down with Galen Etlin to share his story.
The damage to the car itself is extensive. Windows blown out, bullet holes through the seats, the front window, and the front hood. But for the man who was hit, as you can imagine, the ordeal is not over. Shards of glass scatter the pavement beneath James Guyton's car, which is now punctured by bullets. His feelings,
Actually, I'm pissed off.
are clear. The 72-year-old is recovering from a drive-by shooting.
See, this is the back area.
Shot in the back while driving in Gresham along Northwest Burnside near Civic Drive on Monday, the 11th. Before the bullets flew, he noticed an SUV come up behind him.
Riding my bumper really close.
Then he heard the shots.
They were shooting at my car.
He saw his windows shatter, but didn't realize he was hit at first. Eventually, the SUV took off and James drove home. That's when he noticed.
There was a hole in the back of my seat.
A blood stain on the seatback shows where he was hit. He called police and paramedics and went to the hospital. Although he's okay, the bullet is still in him. He doesn't know who shot him in the back nor why.
I'm thinking they had to be a coward to do that.
Police said the shooting appears to be random. They have not identified a suspect nor made arrests. So for James, there's a lot of frustration and a big question.
Wondering why would someone be riding around that time of night ready to shoot someone.
In a random attack like this, police don't have a whole lot of leads to go off of. So if you have any information, contact Gresham PD. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Now to the latest on the war in Ukraine. Russia today showed no signs of letting up, launching new airstrikes against Kyiv and other cities. They also delivered an ultimatum to the battered city of Mariupol: surrender or else. That city has withstood the worst of the war. By some estimates, 95% of it has been destroyed, but still, they refuse to surrender.
No, city still is not fallen. There is still our military forces, our soldiers, so they will fight till the end. And as for now, they still are in Mariupol.
Only a couple thousand Ukrainian soldiers are still holding out in a steel factory. Russia's military claims it controls most of the city's center, a claim that could not be confirmed as of now. If the city does finally fall, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning of major consequences.
The Russians are making a huge mistake, said President Zelensky. The destruction of all our guys in Mariupol, what they're doing now, can put an end to any format of negotiations.
Russia's nearly 2-month siege on Mariupol has trapped hundreds of thousands of civilians with little food, clean water, electricity, or medical care. It's become the symbol of civilian suffering for those who stayed after hundreds of thousands fled the area. Let's shift our focus back here to the Rose City. Mother Nature changed her tune just in time for the Easter weekend. Many of you were out enjoying Portland's parks this afternoon. Just take a look at that. This was the scene at Forest Park in Multnomah County. People just enjoying that warm weather before, well, you know, another cold round hits. This is still spring here in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, it is, but it certainly hasn't felt like it.
No, it was winter last week. Jeez Louise.
And we're still going to be seeing some cooler temperatures. You have to wait until the end of this week before we start to warm up. But we're still going to be looking at some active conditions out there here, especially heading into the morning hours tomorrow and into the afternoon especially. We're talking about the threat of some thunderstorms. Right now, though, we're looking at a temperature of 53 degrees, mostly cloudy skies as you get ready to wrap up your Easter Sunday. And yeah, we all had a dry weekend pretty much, and a little bit of some sunshine earlier today. Now on the radar, we are picking up a little bit of some showers, and this looks more intense. A lot of this is just evaporating before it even reaches the surface. It's not even making the ground. But heading into, I'd say by 10:30, 11 o'clock, we'll start to see some showers move through here in the metro area, and it gets pretty nasty along the Oregon coast. So here's a look at Futurecast. Really after midnight, we'll start to see dry conditions once again, but you'll notice by the early part of the afternoon, we are seeing a streak week of yellows and oranges up and down the Oregon coastline, and it could be severe enough where we see some intense thunderstorms roll throughout tomorrow afternoon and in the evening hours, really throughout the coast, the valley, and into the mountains. You travel over the mountains, you're going to be under a winter weather advisory starting tomorrow at 11 o'clock and stays in effect until early Tuesday. Several inches of new snow tomorrow, about 6 inches or so. The heavy snow arrives tomorrow night and into Tuesday. And speaking of Tuesday, we'll start to see some drier weather at times, but we're still going to have some unstable air to kick off the work week throughout Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Along with that unstable air, we could be seeing heavy downpours at times, and this model is showing we'd be seeing close to 1/2 inch of rain. Some models are saying we could see close to 1/2 inch by the end of tomorrow. If that's the case, we could be looking at close to 4 inches of rain already for this month. We have another week or so, week and a half left of the month of April. We're also going to be seeing some windy conditions along the Oregon coast at times. So like I said, it is going to be an active start to your work week. I'll talk more about that and just when we can expect to see some calmer conditions in the forecast coming up.
All right, Joe, thank you. We want to talk now about Portland's homeless crisis and a new resource for those struggling with mental illness and substance abuse. A new behavioral health center is under construction right now in downtown Portland. Tim Gordon shows us how federal dollars are helping make it happen.
And if we want to, we can just kind of take a...
It was a big day this week on Southwest Park Avenue in downtown Portland. Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici and U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley came to tour Multnomah County's Behavioral Health Resource Center Plaza, which is still under construction. They brought with them a ceremonial check for big federal dollars to go to the project.
It was an honor to be able to submit this funding request and see it in the final appropriations bill, more than $2.6 million, which we are going to see here to help with the plaza as well as other services.
Bonamici, Merkley, and the rest of the Oregon delegation got the support for a place that will help those who are suffering on our streets.
This center says we are going to address the issue of mental health issues and homelessness in a comprehensive way.
A place where people could get their basic needs met in a safe space and critically offer connection to services by fellow peers who understand what it's like to live with a behavioral health diagnosis. And as you can hear, the construction is going on as we speak.
Multnomah County Chair Deborah Kafori says a peer-run day center will open this fall. A 33-bed shelter and 19 beds dedicated to those transitioning to long-term housing will follow next year. The conversation began 3 years ago about building the resource center. It included those who will use this place to heal and get better. DeAndre Kenyon-Jui works for Multnomah County Health after making it through tough times with mental illness and homelessness, involved since the start of this center.
After it being funded and after having stakeholder meetings and getting peers involved, getting people with lived experience involved to design this process, and now we're under construction, it's a dream come true.
A dream becoming reality. Tim Gordon, KGW News.
An Easter Sunday tradition served up 900 meals today for people experiencing homelessness. The Union Gospel is serving up the Easter staples: ham, au gratin potatoes, green beans, a dinner roll, fruit salad, and of course, dessert. 300 meals were handed out downtown today. The other 600 are given out by a team that travels to camps all across the city. The mission also prepared 250 Easter food baskets for families who are housed but unable to provide an Easter brunch for their families.